The meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple. And yet, everyone rushes around in a great panic as if it was necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. Alan Watts. Few have done more to bring the teachings of Eastern religion and philosophies to the modern Western culture. His thoughts and lessons have helped thousands in the West by helping them understand what has been taught for generations in Eastern cultures. While he was alive, Watts wrote 25 books, the most famous of which was The Way of Zen. His teachings are even more extremely widespread than that, though, with over 200 recordings of seminars, lectures, and talks that have become known as the works. In this video, we'll dive deep into the 10 lessons that Watts taught that can help you improve your thinking, the quality of your life, and dealing with difficult times. Number 1. Things are as they are. We start with one of the most common quotes that we can think of. Things are what they are. Look out into the universe at night. We make no comparisons between right and wrong stars, nor between well and badly arranged constellations. As humans, we spend endless hours comparing the good and bad, the right and the wrong. We try and label things constantly to help describe them. How often do you get mad about traffic, your job, or how someone treats you? Those things are as they are. We can either let them affect us or move on and accept them as they are. Number 2, who you are is enough. In the last 20 years, the world has seen a jump in overall depression numbers. More and more people are feeling like something is missing. For most of the developed world, basic human needs like food, shelter, and water are taken care of. Yet more and more we look for what is wrong with us, for what is missing. Alan promoted seeing yourself in the correct way. By seeing yourself as just extraordinary as nature, the clouds, the waves, running water, and the burn of a fire, you will realize that you are perfectly fine and you are enough. Number 3, real religion. I always laugh at the altar, be it Christian, Hindu, or Buddhist, because real religion is the transformation of anxiety into laughter. Religion and spirituality often are labeled as things that we are. They are compartments of our whole self. Watts taught that God is everything and nothing and everywhere and nowhere. Thus God and religion cannot be separated from our everyday life. Number 4, faith is the opposite of belief. Faith is known as something that is true for yourself. Belief actually comes from the word leaf, which means wish. Wishing means that you are hoping for things to be true. The difference between faith and belief are as different as knowledge and hope. Both are often positive, but not the same in many regards. Number 5, allow things to settle. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. Think back to the last time you got big news, especially bad news. In the moment, it seems like earth-shattering things. A day later, a month later, and especially a year later, rarely do these events upset you anywhere near the same amount they did originally. In most cases, let things settle before you react to them. Number 6, we came out of this world. Watts made an argument that we don't come into this world, we come out of it, like leaves from a tree. This means that we are instantly part of something bigger. Just like a leaf is part of a tree, each individual is a small part of the universe. Each of us is just an expression of something more, much larger. But we are all, together, part of the same thing. You might be an isolated ego, but that ego belongs to something bigger than we can even comprehend. Number 7, rigid sanity is dangerous. No one is more dangerously insane than the one who is sane all the time. He is like a steel bridge without flexibility, and the order of his life is rigid and brittle. Bruce Lee understood this concept with his famous quote about being like water. As humans, we must be flexible and willing to change with the events around us. Those who take a rigid stance, like a thick wood board, will eventually break under the perfect strike or enough pressure. Those who remain flexible, like water, will adapt and change to whatever the world throws at them. And this leads us perfectly into number 8. 8 is uncertainty is the only certainty. Many of the world's philosophers have come to the same conclusion. Heraclitus said it best when he spoke, "The only thing that is constant is change." The Eastern cultures tend to understand that life is continuously changing, and that one must accept this fact. Resisting the natural flow of life is pointless, and thus the only way to be happy and to be at peace is to go with the flow. In The Wisdom of Insecurity, Watts stated that the desire for security and the feeling of insecurity are the same thing. By holding your breath, you lose your breath. We want things to stay the same because they are secure and familiar. By doing this, we are not ready for the inevitable change that life throws at us, causing more harm than it would have if we knew and accepted that change is inevitable. Number 9. The way of nature. Westerners view nature as external. It is trees, plants, grass, the countryside, or a mountain range. In Chinese, the word for nature is zairan, which means self-so, or so of itself. Nature is the process of life, and we are included in that process. He also believed in Wu Wei, the way of nature. Wu Wei is achieved by non-striving, non-doing, and actionless action. In practical terms, this means that you do things for their own sake. You act without some side agenda or in pursuit of a result or an outcome. Lastly, number 10, the meaning of life. Watts suggested that there is no ultimate meaning of life, and that meaning is created, not found. We have often heard this expressed as a metaphor comparing humans to an ice sculpture. Only by taking a pick to the block of ice and revealing what's inside do we see what the ice can become. In this way, we need to find and do things that give our life meaning. This is individual to us. For one man, it might be being the best husband possible and raising kids who are good people and who contribute to society. Another man may find meaning in building a giant tech company that influences the day-to-day of human life for generations to come. According to Watts, there is no one universal meaning to life. Your actions, the quality of your thoughts, and the way that you deal with the otherwise mundane gives meaning to your existence. Remember, the meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple. And yet, everyone rushes around in a great panic as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. We have another video on the backwards law by Alan Watts that you should swing over and check out if you enjoyed this one, or like Alan Watts' philosophies. Before you watch that one, do us a favor and hit the thumbs up button to like this video, and if you're not subscribed, click on that button to support the channel and get notified when we release new animations.